Serpent, Scion by Orphan Account. Read by Kaiinbed. Chapter 11. The Place I've Dreamed of. Apart from the Sorcerer's Stone, which is extremely hard to get, the elixir of life doesn't require any other rare ingredients. It doesn't even require any special brewing skills. Literally anyone, having the stone, a cauldron, a basic ingredients kit, and enough time is able to brew the potion. For an unparalleled master of this art like Severus, it doesn't even pose a challenge. Time is the only factor needed in a large quantity. The Sorcerer's Stone has to be in its liquid form to blend it into the other ingredients. It takes a good 3 hours to heat the stone up in a cauldron to the temperature high enough to melt it. Severus, Voldemort, Quirrell, and Harry have locked themselves up from the inside in one of the potion's labs. While Snape is busy brewing the potion, the Dark Lord has put himself and Quirrell to a partial magic-induced sleep, in order to save as much energy for the rebirth process as possible. Severus is stirring the cauldron, watching the heated stone slowly turn into thick scarlet liquid. Harry approaches him timidly. "Need any help?" the boy asks quietly. Severus smiles at him. "Thank you, Harry, but no, I don't. The stone has to melt before I start adding any other ingredients," he explains. "You seem anxious, though," Harry notices. Snape nods reluctantly. "I am, because of the amount of time it requires. I'm slightly worried about the headmaster spotting us before the potion is ready." Harry's lips curl up into a smile. "Relax. I'm sure we can hold him back if needed, giving you enough time to brew. When the potion is ready, my cousin will be able to tear Dumbledore into shreds. I heard he's pretty overpowered in his top form, isn't he?" "Yes," Severus smiles. "Yes, he is." "Severus," Harry says hesitantly, "I hope you're not too upset. About my mother." Snape sighs. "No, Harry, I'm not upset," he says. "Disappointed would describe my feelings better. I'm disappointed in the headmaster because although I always knew he is an extremely manipulative person, I also always trusted him with Lily. Years ago, after the prophecy had been revealed, I asked him to look out for Lily's safety, in exchange reducing myself basically to the role of his servant. I've always believed that he had protected Lily to the best of his abilities, in accordance with our agreement. Finding out that he had deliberately sacrificed her life to enforce his ideas, he's just hit a new low in my eyes." Harry nods understandingly. "And Lily, that may surprise you, but I'm disappointed in her too," Severus adds, deciding to share his deepest thoughts with the boy. She was a bright, young, talented witch. She had so many other options, so many possibilities. If only she didn't decide to trust Dumbledore. If only she decided to approach me for help. She would still be alive, and your life could have looked completely different." Harry smiles. "Actually, I wouldn't trade my life for any other," he states. "You, Severus, also shouldn't spend your life on deliberating what would happen if Lily wouldn't want it." Severus stares at the ruby-red liquid in the cauldron, feeling his cheeks flushing slightly. "Besides," Harry goes on, "it looks like she had genuinely regretted her decision. Otherwise, she wouldn't have included you as a beneficiary in her last will." Severus's eyes brighten. "You're right. I'm sure that leaving you the money was her way of making amends. As soon as she knew that her life was about to end, she decided to use the means that she had left to make your life better, at least to some extent." Severus feels a painful cramp grabbing at his bowels and throat. He finds himself unable to utter a word for a while. He wordlessly summons some powdered new claws and some chopped ground gunk roots, and adds them to the potion. Steam billows out of the cauldron, and the thick liquid changes its color from scarlet to golden orange. "Speaking about your mother's money, Harry," Severus starts apprehensively, when the cramp lets go of his throat. "I have made a purchase that I believe you should know about." The boy looks at Severus curiously. "You know that all four of us," Severus starts, indicating Quirrell and Voldemort, "are going to need a place as soon as all of this is over. I mean, the Dark Lord doesn't have any place to stay, and Quirrell will be forced to go into hiding. Your house had been destroyed in the fire, and my house, well, you've seen Spinner's End yourself. It's a disgusting place, without the connection to waterworks, full of cockroaches and bad memories. I decided to sell it back to the Muggle community, where it belongs. Harry looks at Severus, encouraging him to go on. Have you ever heard about Fenlands? Severus asks, flushing lightly. It's a peaty lowland in eastern England, homeland of Salazar Slytherin. Quiet, peaceful area, currently inhabited mostly by croppers and cattle farmers. The most beautiful place I've ever known. I decided to, make my teenage dream come true. I bought an old abandoned manor in the fens. The boy's eyes widened. You bought a manor? Like, an actual manor with dozens of chambers, elaborate gardens and stuff? He asked in disbelief. I've seen the building only from the outside, but I don't think there are dozens of chambers there, Harry. From what I've learned, it has a large drawing room, a set of 6 bedrooms, along with kitchens, a pantry, a laundry room, dungeons, and 3 bathrooms. The estate outside cannot be called elaborate gardens, because nobody has been living there for decades. There are probably just waist-high weeds and grass there. Snape smiles. Harry looks at him confused. Have you never been inside then? How did you even know about the existence of this manor? He asked. Severus flushes again. Well, I've been to the Fenlands with the Lily, he admits. Summer holidays before 5th year at Hogwarts. The most beautiful summer of my life. We were walking across the heathland and saw the manor from afar. We made a promise to each other that after we graduate, we were going to leave Cokeworth and move to the Fenlands together. I swore to Lily that I was going to find a way to make enough money to afford the manor and make it our new home. Harry smiles. Do you think that she remembered this promise after all these years and decided to make your dream come true? Severus budges. Possibly. It's so cool that you're going to abandon Spinner's End and move to the place of your dreams, Harry says cheerfully. The way you describe it, it really sounds miraculous. And I'm stoked that me, Grassy, and Scarlet-Eyed Cousin are going to move in with you. Severus freezes over the cauldron. He suddenly realizes that there is one more issue that he has to come clean about. Harry, he says cautiously, there's one more person I'd like to invite to live in the manor with us. Yeah? Who then? Severus lifts his eyes up at the boy. Your father, Harry. Harry narrows his eyes, puzzled. My father? Yes, your father. Morphin gone. Severus says calmly, firmly. Not surprisingly, the boy is confused. Severus takes a deep breath and tells Harry the whole story about the disastrous day, when Dumbledore burned down the Gaunt Shack and made an attempt to kill Morphin. He also describes his own contribution to Gaunt's narrow escape, followed by Dumbledore's unrefined punishment. Having revealed the truth to Harry, Severus hangs his head low. He expects an understandable outburst of anger from the boy. Instead, he feels Harry's skinny arms wrapped tightly around his shoulders, accompanied by the boy's cries of uncontrollable joy. I knew it! Harry yells happily. The rational part of my mind has accepted his death, but the emotional part of my mind kept telling me the whole time that father might have survived. So you aren't mad at me for concealing the truth? Severus asks apprehensively. Are you kidding me, Severus? Harry exclaims. This is the best news I could have dreamed of. Besides, I know perfectly well why you had to hide the truth from me. The most important thing now is that my father is alive. I was also thinking about a way to reunite the two of you, Snape confesses. However, I still know nothing about your father's whereabouts, and having to remain vigilant, I haven't even tried to contact him yet. Oh, that won't be a problem at all, Harry says airily. I have an idea where he might be, and according to my cousin, we're going to make a stop there anyway. Severus raises his eyebrows. What do you mean? He asks, confused. Severus and Harry freeze when they hear someone vigorously knocking on the door. Crap, Harry whispers, paling rapidly. I must have made too much noise. The knocking turns into violent hammering, as if someone was trying to break down the door. Severus stirs anxiously in the cauldron, shooting a glance towards the door. Severus. A muffled, familiar voice resounds in the lab. Severus, I know you're inside. Open up. Snape catches Harry's eyes and indicates the potion, giving the boy a clear signal. It's almost ready. Harry nods and reaches towards the shelf, grabbing a glass bottle. Severus sinks a ladle into the golden-orange liquid and pulls it out, sniffing the potion. Yes, the elixir of life is ready to be applied. Snape accepts the glass vial from Harry's hands and pours the potion inside. Severus. Dumbledore's voice gets louder and more obnoxious, the hammering on the door not ceasing. Open up this instant. Severus is really thankful to Harry for sealing the door up with his parcel magic created black slime. Even a wizard like Dumbledore needs some time to figure out how to undo the spell and unlock the door. Voldemort is still plunged in deep sleep, leaning against the cold stone wall. Severus kneels down beside him and presses the bottle against his thin white lips. Severus! Dumbledore yells. The door crackles dangerously. Snape shot a quick glance back. Harry, pale and sweaty, is standing in front of the barely holding door, with his wand extended, ready to attack. Severus tilts the bottle, pouring its contents into Voldemort's mouth. The Dark Lord swallows the potion in one gulp. Much to Severus's relief, the elixir of life starts working immediately. Severus takes a couple steps back, when Quirrell's body furls a couple feet upwards and starts floating above the floor. The young wizard's muscles stiffen, and his skin starts radiating a dim light. Severus gasps when Quirrell opens his eyes and starts screaming. Detaching Voldemort's weakened, parasiting body from his own had just started, and apparently, it is unbelievably painful. Behind the door, Dumbledore yells incantations of hexes and curses, trying more and more desperately to get inside. Quirrell's body falls to the ground like a sack of potatoes, leaving a misshapen, deformed homunculus up above the floor. Snape watches the small, grotesque creature growing and building up a new, strong body. Its skeleton expands, muscles form themselves and attach to the frame, and a layer of grayish skin wraps them tightly. New internal organs prove themselves working properly when Lord Voldemort takes a first deep breath. Severus summons wordlessly one of his black cloaks from the closet and hands it over to the Dark Lord. Voldemort descends and stands upright on his bare feet, putting on Snape's cloak. He narrows his scarlet eyes, turning towards the door, still stormed by Dumbledore. Harry, Voldemort hisses softly. Let him inside. The boy turns his pale face towards his cousin and nods. He hisses a command in Parseltongue, removing the black sludge from the doorframe. Albus storms inside, red-faced and furious. Seeing the Dark Lord, his light blue eyes widen in horror. He extends his wand towards Voldemort and casts a non-verbal spell. A stream of bright purple light reaches the Dark Lord's newly formed body, but fails to even scratch his grayish, moist skin. Severus watches with wide eyes as the Dark Lord moves slowly towards Dumbledore. Voldemort's thin lips curl up into a smile when he effortlessly grabs Albus's extended wrist and violently twists it upwards. A horrible crack of breaking bone makes Severus flinch. Dumbledore lets out a cry of pain and falls down on his knees. I believe this is mine now, Voldemort says quietly, pulling the Elder One out of Albus's limp hand. Severus. My lord. Snape steps forward, feeling his mouth going dry. This is your revenge, the Dark Lord whispers and steps aside. Severus's hand is shaking when he draws his wand and points it towards Dumbledore. The old wizard, deathly pale and bug-eyed, looks at Snape. Severus, he whispers in a hoarse voice. Severus, please, I beg you. Severus snorts. You beg me, he repeats absently. You beg me, just like I begged you to protect Lily. The old man's face is tense and terrified. Severus, he whines. Avada Kedavra. Snape whispers. A stream of green light washes over Dumbledore's chest. It's over.